let's discuss our girl, Miss Serena Williams. So, for all of you out there who are unaware of this next topic, recently there have been some photos that surfaced of Serena Williams with a much lighter hue than normal. Some people attributed this to her bleaching her skin, while other folks claim that it was simply the way that the makeup artist that applied her makeup did so, meaning that she just put on a much lighter foundation than was needed. So
They need to
let
stop
me
lying with
read.
that bullshit though. But
Well,
continue. I'm sorry.
oh no, you're good. You're good. So I'm going to read to you really quickly this excerpt from this Hot 97
Article.
article. For a lot of you who do not know, Hot 97 is a New York City radio station.
Hot
Um,
97.
yeah, Hot 97.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's the one that used to have Angie Martinez,
Yep.
but
Yep.
Angie Martinez moved to the one that's now where the Breakfast Club is, right? 105, I think it is.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, so this is an article from Hot 997 site, and it's a skin bleaching accusation. So the article reads: Serena Williams has been trending online following a recent accusation of her bleaching her skin. In a since deleted picture, fans speculated that she bleached her skin on her makeup, or excuse me, her makeup artist applied makeup to make her skin lighter. The picture sparked a lot of conversation, and without explanation, Serena removed that picture. So that is the basis of this subject. Um, I am going to go ahead and start this off, if you don't mind, fellas, because
You
I have a
good?
Oh
very
yeah. Go ahead.
quick viewpoint on this. I think what happened here was a whole lot of speculation. Unless Serena Williams, because it apparently there have since been pictures that have been published where she is of her normal skin tone. So I think, to my understanding, skin bleaching and reversal doesn't happen that quickly, if it was truly that. But if it was a situation where the makeup artist just applied a makeup that was much lighter than her natural hue, you would have thought that unless Serena was just in some kind of major rush, that she said to that artist, "Hey, I don't really like this look. This is not, appropriate for my skin tone," or etc. But my thing is, I really don't have enough details one way or the other to say that it was one or the other. So I cannot sit here and make any judgments. I would say that I would hope that Serena Williams, being who she is to the Black community, especially little young Black girls who have seen her as an inspiration and an icon, and especially in the wake of all the different social injustices that Black people face just because of the color of our skin, and the colorism and etc., all these different battles that our community has fought over the last how many decades and years of injustice, that Serena would be proud to wear her brown skin tone. And to say that she isn't, I don't think that there has been enough evidence to confirm that. um so, in my opinion, this is one of those situations where, unless we hear it straight out of Serena's mouth, I am not going to jump to any conclusions about what occurred in this instance. And I would just hope that Serena Williams is proud to be a pillar of the Black community and represent us brown skinned sisters and us Black people in general, in a profound way. So I'll leave it with that. We threw it to E-Man to start us off on the last subject. So I'm gonna throw this back to Mr. PAT. What say you, sir?
All right. So for me, that this is simple. Um, and I'm gonna put out a few stats just as a heads up to everybody. Um, but yeah, like I said before, this is simple. For me, I would say hopefully Serena Williams really isn't bleaching her skin. I don't think she is, but you know, who knows? I don't know. You know, I because I don't know her personally. So I would just hope that she really isn't bleaching her skin. So we've all seen that pic of her on Instagram, and basically she looked like Marlon Wayans or Sean Wayans from the movie White Chicks. I mean, we saw that picture where
Right.
she looked like one of the white chicks.
Mm-hmm.
So first of all, that was a really bad pick, and second of all, it if it was really a bad makeup job, then her makeup artist should be fired. Like I'm gonna just
I
straight
agree.
up say
I
that. Like
agree.
I
I
mean,
agree. I agree.
he or
Mm-hmm.
she, whoever did that, if this was a bad makeup job, they need to be gone if they're not
Yeah, well,
already.
she allowed it too. That's what's crazy to
That
me.
that too, that too. You know, so she has
Why
to be
do
held
you
accountable too.
subject
And
yourself to silly shit?
you make a
I
good
don't
point.
get it.
I mean, she allowed it, so you know, it takes two to
Mhm.
tango. True indeed. I mean, overall, that pick was just not a good look.
No, I
It
agree.
was just not a good look. I mean, I just think everyone involved should be ashamed of themselves. And just to be real, when I look at old pics of Serena Williams and when I look at more recent pics of her, it does look like she's a couple shades lighter.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm kind of like on the fence with the whole skin bleaching. I don't want to say that she's doing that. I'm not gonna accuse her of that because, like I
Mm-hmm.
said before, I don't know her personally. I don't know what she's doing, but you know, just when I look at pics of her from, you know, way back when years ago, whatever, and then more like recent pics, more current pics, I think she does look to be a few shades lighter. At least to me, she doesn't look as
Mm-hmm.
dark. She doesn't look as dark skinned as she used to be.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
who knows? Maybe it's just bad makeup jobs or Photoshop edits or both. It could be a
Mm-hmm.
combination of things.
Right.
And
Right. Absolutely.
could be a combination of things. Um, since we're on the topic of skin bleaching, though,
Mm-hmm.
I just need to let the sisters out there know that they don't need to bleach their skin.
Exactly.
Black
Or gave
women,
fake breasts
black.
or fake asses.
Oh yeah, no, we don't want
Melanin
none of that.
popping.
Yes, we don't want
No
none.
lace fronts. Can I continue?
Lord, here we go.
But yeah,
There's more, but I'm gonna let PAT finish.
but yeah, just to stick to the skin bleaching. But I feel you though. We don't want the fake shit. For the most part, some of us brothers, we're not into that. Some might be, but some are. But or aren't. Either way, we're not into it. But with the skin bleaching, you know, no. Like I'm gonna say, like, just no, stop doing it. Like and I'll speak for myself because of course, I can't speak for everybody. But and I think E-Man could agree with me. But we 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 don't want our sisters skin bleaching. We
I
just
don't.
don't. We don't
I
want y'all
don't.
doing it. Black women of all shades are beautiful. Straight up, black women of all shades are beautiful. Black women of all shades and colors are beautiful. From
Mm-hmm.
light to dark, from dark to light.
Absolutely.
We don't do that colorism bullshit over here. Like
Mm-hmm.
we don't do that. Like I'm not for that colorism bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, society, as we all know, has done a number on black people. I mean, the system of white supremacy, which is global, has done a number on black people.
Right.
Black people are not only running around trying to be psychologically white, but they are trying to look and be white. And I'm not the first person who said this. Other people have said this before. So regardless of it, if it's a controversial statement, that's just what I think, what I see and believe.
That is correct.
But
Don't.
you
Yeah,
know,
that's correct.
it is what it is. Like, unfortunately, there are Black people running around trying to be psychologically white and trying to be physically white. It's unfortunate to me seeing Black women trying to be white women. I'm gonna just say it flat out. Colorism and skin bleaching proves this. Black women who are dark skinned are obviously more prone to skin bleaching, I would think.
Mm-hmm.
And that comes from a place of self-hate. The thing is, when you don't like the dark skin that you're in, then you'll see no problem with skin bleaching.
Mm-hmm. And there are other variables, and I think you're
Yeah, absolutely.
I think you're 100% spot on that it definitely comes from a place of self-hate, but that self-hate is initiated and grown through some of the experiences that darker skinned people in our community face.
Right.
I've
correct.
experienced that myself as a
Right.
brown-skinned girl.
Yep.
Growing up in Montgomery County, and I apologize, Pat, I didn't mean to interrupt you there, but just, growing up in an area that back then, as the both of you all know, was like, had a fair amount of Black people, but was still predominantly white. We faced, and when I say we, I know more than a few of my closer friends who were also brown skinned, dark skinned, who faced the same thing I did, being called an African booty scratcher when, I'm not even of African descent. And I had a very close friend who was African, and it was just because, both of us was dark skinned. They called both of us that, which hurt both of us because, first of all, her being of African descent is something to be proud of. But it speaks to what we faced, in our own community, which is part of the reason that self-hate exists.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's that unfortunately, that's where it comes from.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely that self-hate that's unfortunately the Black community, there's just way too much self-hate within the Black community.
Exactly.
I'm gonna just say it like that, and so I think that's where the skin bleaching and all that stuff, it comes from that.
Mm-hmm.
And just to kind of go through the brief stats, I mean, skin bleaching, or I guess some would call it skin lightening, like lightening, which people, some people might call it that, is actually a $1 billion industry.
Yes.
It's a billion.
It's very prominent in Africa, actually.
Yeah.
There are a lot of nations in Africa where the women especially are practicing that at an alarming rate.
Yeah, and I'm gonna get into that, but yeah.
That's actually true.
Very true. Yep. Billion, not million, but $1 billion industry. When I read that, I was like, whoa, like just whoa. But I read that back in 2017, the global market for skin bleaching amounted to about $4.8 billion and could possibly reach $8.9 billion by the year 2027. Billions. We're still talking billions. I mean, and the numbers are increasing. But as of this year, 2021, there are sources saying that women of color spend more than $8 billion on bleaching creams every year worldwide. And the highest numbers are, just like you mentioned, Naya, Africa. They're coming from Africa, with Nigeria leading in purchasing of skin bleaching products.
Yeah.
And I read that roughly 77% of Nigerian women are skin bleaching.
Right. It was actually my best friend that I was just mentioning that experience that we both shared to you all. She was from Lagos. And so, I've definitely recall her, at a younger age wanting to have dark skin, not, being proud of being from Nigeria because of the other kids making fun of her and etc. I had a Trinidadian friend that were called those same names because people didn't, care to appreciate her culture and, made the same claims. So it's horrible that as a society, as a community, that there are still some of us who haven't recognized the beauty in ourselves because of the trauma that we've experienced from our peers.
Right.
This is a very large issue in the Black community that needs to be addressed at a foundational level so that we can create and promote happiness and self-appreciation in our youth. And thankfully, my daughter's generation, it doesn't appear to be at as high a level. That disdain and hatred for their peers and their dark skin and etc. doesn't seem to be at as high a level as it was in the past. I hear a lot of consciousness amongst her generation. I do hear about instances of colorism still, where there are kids who are out there like little Black boys. Oh, I want a light-skinned red bone chick, where rappers are screaming in articles, etc. Or Black girls do this, or Black girls behave that way, and the same vice versa. With I know a few young ladies, Black young ladies, who have said, "Oh, I only want to date white boys because Black boys don't like us," and that really hurt my heart to hear all of those aspects, because this is our youth. You know what I mean? This is the next generation of the Black community, and this is, learned viewpoints. People are not born with biases. They are learned.
Right. They are learned over time. Yep.
So
everything's programmed and learned, but yes.
Situation.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And just to wrap up what I was saying, but yeah, everything you're saying, I mean, yeah, overall, it's just really disturbing, especially when I read those numbers. Also, I was, because before this whole thing, I never really, I knew skin bleaching was an issue, and I knew it was pretty big. I just didn't know how big. And just looking up those numbers real quick, I was like, wow, like this shit is fucking crazy. I mean,
it's pretty big. Like, it's really big. And I got proof to know how big it is.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And I mean, it's sad when you really think about it. When you think about it, it really is a major problem. And the thing is, I think we just need to reinforce. And when I say we, like, people like us, all real Black leaders out there, Black thought leaders, Black, even Black, we can include Black celebrities, basically prominent Black figures. We need to just reinforce that Black women are beautiful just the way they are. We just really need to enforce that. It doesn't matter what shade of what you are, what color you are. All shades of Black women are beautiful. Dark skin, light skin, brown skin, butter pecan, almond, whatever. Like, it's all beautiful. And that's
I like that almond though.
Right.
I like that almond though.
Yeah, but they're all beautiful. Like, and that's the beauty of Black women. Y'all, Black women come in different shades. So we need to just reinforce
all different shades.
And then dark skin, we gotta let the dark skin sisters know that they're beautiful the way they are.
We definitely need to.
Absolutely.
We gotta reinforce that.
Melanin, baby.
Yeah, melanin. We gotta, really reinforce that melanin, and the beauty of it. So the thing is, I think over time, too many and I'm speaking about Black women in this one, too many have been convinced that being lighter skinned and being more Eurocentric in looks and features is what is more desirable. So, I mean, as we all know, the skin bleaching plays a part in that. And unfortunately, that stuff, the self-hate, comes to the surface through that. So just to go back to Miss Serena Williams, I would hope that she really isn't skin bleaching. I know I'm repeating myself in that regard, but I would really hope that she's not. And I'm gonna just say this. I know she's with a white man, but I will, and who people are with, that's their business. I mean, I don't really go much deeper into people's relationships or marriages or whatever, because all that's really just a bunch of celebrity gossip bullshit or whatever. But at the end of the day, she's in the public eye. We know she's with a white man. And I would just say, hopefully, he hasn't psychologically corrupted her to the point of, I guess, her trying to make her skin color more light. I would hope, because we don't know what goes on behind closed doors, but if her photos are just a case of bad makeup or bad Photoshop edits or both, then I mean, whoever is doing one or the other or all of the above, seriously, cut the shit. Like, I'm gonna just say it like that, just cut the shit. If you're dealing with a dark-skinned black woman, a beautiful dark-skinned black woman, don't do bad makeup jobs and edits and all this other bullshit. You got to know how to represent that chocolate skin sister. You got to know how to represent them properly to the world, because I mean, we all know that black celebrities, they work with makeup artists and all, they work with different people that prep them and all that good stuff and help them with their look, and we know that's what happens. These people aren't doing it by themselves. So whoever is behind all this, represent our chocolate skin sisters better. Like, do a better job representing them and showing the world the beauty in them being dark skinned, chocolate skinned. Like, let's do that. Like, if it's a case of whether it's bad makeup or a Photoshop edit or both, let's just cut the bullshit. Knock it off. Let's not do that. So, that's pretty much my whole thing. And real quick, I just want my sisters out there to not be fooled. There are black men who love dark-skinned women.
Absolutely.
Straight up. Like, there are some of us out here who love dark-skinned women. There are black men who might prefer light-skinned chick. They might prefer, something that's in between, like I said.
And all of that's okay.
And that's fine. And that's okay. Like I said, it's okay. But there are men who want and love dark-skinned women. Like, so
I like all flavors, but that's just me. So I'm sorry.
So I'm gonna end it off on that. Just for my sisters out there, be proud of who you are. Be proud of the skin you're in. Like,
we are queens, honey.
Right. All y'all are queens, So yeah, I'll leave it at that.
Well, thank you, Mr. PhD. I appreciate that. I appreciate you and E-Man's words on this subject. This is definitely one that is very sensitive and close to my heart because of, my past experiences. And, sometimes simple words and hearing that we have the support of our brothers is, all we want, all we really need, to help us get started on that self-improvement, that self-love. It's like the first domino. So thank you, Pat. Thank you, E-Man.
No doubt. And sorry you had to go through all
those
that
comments.
I'm really sorry you had to go through. I mean, I went through the same thing too, but yeah.
Well, I appreciate you, brothers. Thank you so much. Mr. E-Man, we're going to throw it to you to wrap it up, sir. What say you?
Thank you. But before we start, I want to say this. Who lied to you about this whole makeup artist thing? If that's what we're using, to cover up, a lie, that shit needs to stop.
Well, that's one of the claims, or one of the not, I'm not going to say claims, because again, there's no evidence of according to my understanding, one way or another, but one of the speculations is that it was in fact the application of makeup by a makeup artist that caused her to look so much lighter, because there have been pictures that are supposedly taken after the incident in which she looks closer to her previous hue. So it's my understanding that neither one of those accusations have been substantiated, right? There's not been any specific evidence that has clearly shown that she has bleached her skin, nor has there been any that was presented that shown this was just a makeup artist application. So that's my understanding, is that both of them are speculations.
Oh goodness. They just should have said, like, your phone was hacked, and then we 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 could have, this could have been a whole easier ball game. I think the whole phone hacking thing, it gotten a lot old and whatnot. I think that's what it is. Because no one used the word alleged. But man, this one hits home for me a lot, you know, and not just because, it's Serena Williams. It goes back to this whole thing about colorism, you know. You know, for me, I had that battle also too. But when you had and I took a class when I was at school, you know, out in Penn State. But when you watch a video of a young black girl, and it's the doll video that everyone knows out on YouTube, the good, what they call it, the good doll or black, I think it's called the good or bad doll
Oh
type
man,
of
I really hate
scenario.
that one.
Yeah, and this is my first time watching it, and and it's very interesting how these psychologists walk in the room, talk to these young black girls, and answer basically there, and then the result of it, when they saw what they knew what a good doll looks like, and parents were really shocked about that. This is what's going on and whatnot. Not just damaging the youth, but damaging the level of psyche to a young. That's like beyond trauma that takes a lot to overcome. Just listen to Nine Angel story. That itself should tell you this. You know, you know?
Hmm.
It bothers me a lot because, and Sammy Sosa did this thing, but for me and whatnot, I said that man was trying to audition for the next Ghost movie and whatnot since Patrick Swayze died. But that's a whole nother story. But but just in Serena's case, why would you subject yourself to this? You know, these are the things I question a lot from these many. So, why would you subject yourself to something like that? You know, like I wouldn't want anybody to do it. And towards the proof about this whole skin bleaching thing, you know what? You know, I know African businesses, that actually sell that skin bleaching thing in products in store, and they see how much it does leave store. So yes, this is in $1 billion industry that I've seen with my own eyes. You know what? Because supposedly they have now drawn into the sense that Eurocentric, the lighter you are, is better. You know, because if you get the word white towards is the color, and you look at the origin of the word white, it means pure. All right. Yeah? And that's the reason why. Because they've been telling everyone the lighter your skin, you are much more pure. And this is the sickness that's been driving basically goddesses insane to feel like I need to look lighter, you know? But then everyone gets mad when when you can't, I wouldn't say have a man, but you can't, you do this, that you feel like this is what's going to help you get another brother. That's not how things work. You know, it
Not
doesn't
at
work
all.
that way.
Nope,
And,
doesn't work that way.
and, you know, and that's what bothers me about this whole situation with, because I could have came in very, strong on, very belligerent. I could have came out cursing and whatnot, but it hurts. You know what I'm saying? It still hurts, you know, because I still don't know why you would subject yourself to that. You know, that's that's, and then you said basically, this was supposedly from the article, This seemed like this was a makeup malfunction. I'm like, we're doing this again and whatnot. You know, I under I clearly understand that that you are married to a white European. Clearly, what, and that is your decision that you made. You know what? But if you're still battling with your own self hate, that means you need to heal and not be in that marriage. That's just being completely honest and whatnot. Because there's still things that are bothering you that you have not confronted. And if you haven't confronted that, how do you how can you be with somebody and you still don't know who you are as a person? You know? To to foolishly let something like this towards, putting the blame on a makeup artist towards, you're having an issue with your own self is there's I can't even describe the words that I want to say at that moment because it's that bad. It's just really that bad, you know? And I hope that whatever is going on with whatever the situation that you choose to call it, I don't even know what to call it and whatnot, you know? Because she basically said, you know, I didn't bleach my skin, you know? But looking at the photos, it looked like you did from the photos. Because I've seen what bleach skin looks like. I've seen it with my own two eyes. I've seen it, you know? And that's what it looks like in the photo and whatnot, you know? With all these photos, with all these whole like photoshops and all this stuff, I'm like, I can't buy into that, you know?
Yeah, real quick. Since you mentioned that, and in all fairness, that's why I mentioned like Photoshop. Because I know you just mentioned Photoshop edits.
Mhm.
Because okay, let's say okay, she's not skin bleaching.
Mhm.
It's not a bad makeup job. Then there are people who still take these photos and they do things with it. They manipulate it to put certain effects in there or whatever to make these pictures, I guess, pop, so to speak. So even if it's a case where she's not necessarily skin bleaching, or even if it's not a bad makeup job, whoever is behind the scenes doing the Photoshop edits, they need to be held accountable. That process needs to be held to account as well. I think just all of it. Whatever's going on, it's just not a good look. It wasn't a good look, and all of it needs to be called out. Obviously, we don't know what exactly it was, but as Naya said earlier, all we can do is really speculate. That's all anyone of us can really do. So that's all. But yeah, I didn't mean to cut you off, but yeah, I wanted to add
No,
that in there.
no,
No,
no, you
that's
good.
fine.
I feel like any other points can be added on, you know? And to all my Nubian black goddesses out there, all right? This is coming from Email and whatnot. Yeah, this is coming from me. You know, love thyself and heal thyself. All right. That would be the only way to heal yourself from the trauma, especially something like this. All right. All right. We have to we have to understand if you yourself as a goddess is having issues, the goal is you must work through them to be a better person. You know, because if skin bleaching is a $1 billion industry and we already know how it's going to get worse, you know, you can change your physical appearance, but it doesn't move that mental and psychological from trauma. It does not, and it will never change and whatnot. You know, you know, we are not. I don't want to use the word. I don't even want to use the examples of robots. You know, but we're not cars and whatnot. You know, we might have like someone close to a genetic makeup and whatnot. You know, but you know, you know, when when a car gets in an accident, it has to be rebuilt and whatnot. You know, when we make mistakes, we can arise from them and do better. But behind that, everyone wants to go back to the same thing. And and this whole skin bleaching has to stop. It just has to. You know, and for celebrities out there who are promoting this sickness, you guys need to stop. This is because it's just hurting more and more and more and more. You know, black women every day, making them feel like they're not good enough, that I don't feel great and whatnot. Especially the dark skin goddesses out there, because how tough it is, being a dark skin. But just imagine also how's it feel like being a dark skinned black male also too, who deals with that same negative, stigma also too. It goes both ways, no matter
Mm-hmm.
what and whatnot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I just want to end on this note that it just needs to stop. And I can't believe Serena Williams would subject herself to this. Right? And
Mm-hmm.
just just if you're having issues and there's nothing wrong letting go and walking away. It's the best thing to do. It is.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, thank you for sharing, Eman. I appreciate you sharing your thoughts on that. I think everyone made great points on this one, fellas. And, hopefully this is just a mistaken case of a bad makeup incident.